Hi, this is Dan, and I'm back with my second video on how to learn to speak Japanese. Now, in my first video, if you watched it, I gave you some very useful phrases to use if you're in Japan or if you meet someone Japanese over here, like in the United States or wherever you live. Um, so in my second video, though, I decided to take a little different tack to the whole thing. See, the thing is, I started studying Japanese back when I was in graduate school, like 25 years ago or something. And the language they teach you in the classes, it's not really how people speak. I mean, I'm sure that's true of every foreign language that you learn, but it's really especially true with Japanese because they teach you these really polite forms, and ways of speaking, and like even the Japanese aren't, quite that polite. They're very polite people, uh, but the thing is, being an American, let's face it, we Americans are not very polite. We're very, in your face, very blunt, So the way that they teach you Japanese just doesn't fit. So this is for Americans that are going to go to Japan. I'm going to teach you how to speak Japanese like an American, okay? Now I'm going to teach you some useful phrases to use so that you can be more like you see the Japanese love Americans. They don't want us to be like them, right? They love us being, bragging and big and in your face kind of people. And they don't want us to go over there and be all like, super polite to them and stuff. They want us to show our true faces, right? So I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to teach you some phrases, all right? So I jotted down some phrases here that you can use. And you don't have to know how to write them or anything. You just can like listen to my pronunciation and play back and memorize them. Okay. So the first phrase you can use if you go to Japan and you want to speak Japanese like an American is "Nanda Korea." Now you're not going to find this in any textbook, I guarantee you. Okay. All right. It's "Nanda Korea." It's basically like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Now, this is a really useful phrase if you go to a Japanese restaurant, right? Because you're not going to go to Japan and go to Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's. Because let's face it, you got those crappy restaurants here in America. You want to go eat some real Japanese food, right? Problem is they got the menus that's all written in Japanese, and you don't know what you're ordering. You're ordering like like a whale bladder or something, or like porpoise fin. You don't know what you're gonna get, right? So you think you're going to order something you want to really eat, and then they bring you this thing and it's moving. It's got flippers and suckers on it and stuff. So you don't want to eat that, right? You're not going to eat that stuff. So you want to say to the waiter, "Nanda Korea, what the hell is this? This wriggling, gross-looking, squiggly." I mean, they eat like sea urchin in Japan. You know what sea urchin is? Well, you like Google it and look it up, and they eat that stuff. So if you get like some sea urchin in your food, you're gonna say "Nanda Kardia." What the hell is this? All right, that's a very useful phrase. Now the second phrase I'm gonna teach you is "Jodan Janayo." Jodan Janayo. And what that is this isn't a joke. This is no joke. Now this is useful if you're gonna go to Japan and like rent a car, right? They're gonna try to stick on these little Japanese cars. We Americans are big. We want like a Hummer, a big car, not one of these little Japanese cars. When we Americans drive, we like other people to be afraid to even be around us. We want like high up so you can look down on them. Big, big, so they get out of your way. So we don't want one of these little mini compact like Suzuki cars. I mean, Suzuki tried to sell cars over here in the United States. We wouldn't buy them, right? They had to give it up because their cars are like teeny tiny cars, and we're big, big Americans. So if you're gonna go rent a car and they try to stick you in one of these little cars, say "Jodan Janayo." This is no joke. This isn't a joke. I want a big American car. All right, and they have them. They'll keep them in the back, but if you make a scene, they'll give you one of them. Okay. So that's my second phrase. Okay, now my third phrase is "Ikage ni shinasai." Ikage ni shinasai. That translates to "wise up already, wise up." Okay? So imagine you go to the hotel. Okay, you go to the hotel to check in, and you go into your room and there's no bed. Like, where's the bed? You know, because Japanese, they don't sleep on beds, they sleep on the floor. You know, like in America, like our pets sleep on the floor. We don't sleep on the floor. We need big, big beds, high, big, fluffy beds, like king size beds. You know, like their rooms are so small. One of our king size beds wouldn't even fit in the whole. That's the whole room is the king size bed. You know, so if you go to a hotel and they try to give you one of these tatami futon jobbies, we want a bed, right? So you go back to the front desk and you say, "Ikage ni shinasai." Wise up already. Give me a room with a bed, a freaking bed, okay? You don't want any of that, fluffy, pillowy stuff that they sleep on, okay? All right. Now this next one, uh, Japanese are known for being very modest and humble, right? I mean, for example, if they invite you over to their house for dinner, they'll say something like, "Oh, please come over to my house for dinner. Oh, my wife is a terrible cook and she's not very good looking, but come anyways." I mean, seriously, they talk like that, right? Well, that's not how we Americans talk, is it? No, we say like, "Hey, come on over to my house for dinner. My wife is a fantastic cook and she's a real knockout, if you know what I mean?" So this phrase kind of is a catch-all for Americans. It's "Ore wa ichiban desu." Ore wa ichiban desu. I am number one. I'm number one. All right? None of this humble crap, none of this playing around. Let's just, give to them straight. Ore wa ichiban desu. I am number one. Now, once you've learned all these phrases, now you know some Japanese, right? So it's important, like if someone asks you, "Do you speak Japanese?" "Nihongo dekimasu ka? Nihongo hanashimasu ka?" You want to respond back appropriately because you know all these phrases now. You're gonna say, "Ore no nihongo wa jouzu desu." Okay? "Ore no nihongo wa jouzu desu." My Japanese is great. My Japanese is great. Now you only speak like 10 phrases, but come on, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? So let's not be modest. I mean, that's more than, 99% of Americans barely speak English, let alone a foreign language. So now you know these different set phrases. So you have the right to say, "My Japanese is great. Ore no nihongo wa jouzu desu." All right? Okay, so I haven't decided on my topic for my third video, but I'll work up something. But in the meantime, study these two other videos and you're on your way to speaking like, perfect